Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Danny Keltz again with the Danny Keltz Show, I guess, because you know what? I got two shows. I got Top Dog Elite Coaching, where I teach you guys sales and leadership and any type of stuff like that. And then I got the Danny Keltz Show, where I just share some insight from things that are going on in my life and certain experiences that I've had that I can share, and it'll help guide you guys throughout your experiences and throughout your challenges that you're going to have to overcome. And so this episode, I want to call The Power of Self-Belief, okay? The reason why I'm calling it The Power of Self-Belief is because, you know what, believe it or not, today I actually quit my job that I had. And I was working somewhere for 6.5 years. I worked as a salesperson, moved up to management, and, I was in my comfort zone and doing extremely well and very, very comfortable, man, living a very, very, very good life. And, I decided to take a chance on myself and take a risk and say, you know what, I'm going to quit that to go explore some other options and go all in on myself at the end of the day, because I'm just betting on myself. I'm betting on myself to succeed because I have that self-belief. And, the good thing about it is that anytime that I've went all in on something and anytime that I had so much self-belief in what my next endeavor has been, yes, there has been some challenges, but I've always been able to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish to a degree, right? Obviously, there are some failures that come up, and that's how you learn from, adversities and challenges and obstacles and anything that might come up, while you're going through this process. But the biggest thing is, man, and I'm starting to realize this too, like it's so difficult for most people to have the courage to step out of their comfort zone and do something that's different. And like the biggest thing that holds people back is, even if they have so much self-belief and they believe in themselves wholeheartedly, like 110,000%, the people around them are trying to drag them down. And right, there's this analogy that you've probably heard before where it's like, oh, you guys are like a bunch of crabs in a bucket. Crabs in a bucket. So what happens if one crab is trying to crawl out of the bucket? What happens is all the other crabs are trying to grab that crab and pull him back down. And the problem is that's how most people are, is they start throwing stones at you. Oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't quit, right? Before you got something lined up. It's like, it doesn't even matter. At the end of the day, when you have the skill set, the confidence in yourself, and you're disciplined and you're consistent and you're committed to things in your life, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because you've built yourself up so much and to such a powerful being that, like, doesn't matter. Abundance is going to come to you. Because at the end of the day, honestly, it's all a mindset. And that's why this is called the power of self-belief, because you got to believe in yourself wholeheartedly, which means if somebody around you, if some of these crabs are trying to pull you back down into the little bucket that they're in, who cares? Who cares, right? Because you're on your own journey. You're on your own path. And nobody knows what you have to deal with day by day. And at the end of the day, even if you have family and friends and coworkers and all these people around you, the only person that you have to deal with day in and day out, every single day, 24/7, it's you. It's you. You're the only person. You have to deal with yourself. Even if you spend so much time with your spouse and you spend so much time with your family, it doesn't matter, because the only person you spend all day, every day, 24/7, 365 days a year with is you. So what's the most important thing? It should be taking care of you and making sure that you're happy and what you're doing sets your soul on fire, and that you get excited every day, and that you wake up and jump out of bed and nothing holds you back, and you're just excited to take on the day and crush whatever challenges, and you don't care about what other people are thinking, and like none of that shit really matters at the end of the day. If somebody wants to judge you, good for them. At the end of the day, they can judge you all they want, but the only person that's allowed to pass judgment is God. That's it. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Now, why do some people succeed and why do some people fail? Well, the biggest thing is their mentality. It's your mindset. And I talk about this stuff all the time, but like people think it's like, oh yeah, you're talking about mindset all the time. But like, yeah, no shit, because it's the most important thing that you could possibly want to improve. Is if you improve your mindset and just the way you're thinking about things, you can attract so many more positive things. You get on a higher frequency, you start attracting more positive, beautiful things into your life. You're not talking negatively and speaking things into existence about how terrible your life is or how terrible your situation is and poor me, and you have this victim mentality or anything like that, because you're so focused on positive things and beautiful things. And you know, the thing is, like, even when I was leaving, I left my job. When I left my job today, like, man, I wrote handwritten letters to like every one of my sales staff and all my co-managers and everybody. And then I went around the entire dealership and I talked to all the parts people that I knew, all the service people that I knew, everybody in the dealership. I was saying bye to them, saying bye to the lot attendants. Everybody knew me because I treat everybody with respect and dignity that they deserve, because we're all human beings at the end of the day. And once you start to understand that and really understand how connected we all are as human beings, then you don't care about that negative Nancy or the people trying to pass judgment on you or any of that type of stuff. And then you're going to have more belief in yourself, because that's where it all stems from at the end of the day. It's like, what's going on up here, you know? And then when you start following here, everything starts connecting and everything starts aligning, and you're talking about pure alignment. And if you really want to live the most amazing, beautiful life you could possibly even imagine, then you got to get fully aligned and in tune with who you really are and your most authentic self. And as soon as you do that, so many other doors are going to open up. And I went to this seminar in December, Andy Elliott's seminar, and he said, God opens up doors that humans can't close. And this is what happens, is he opens up these doors, and then you can't close them. Even if you're trying to close them, you can't close them. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. So that's what I'm talking about. Okay, another thing is taking risks. You got to take those risks. This is where that self-belief really comes in handy, is because when you're taking those risks, guess what's going to happen? There's going to be an opportunity for more growth because you're out of your comfort zone. So you're taking these risks and you're like, okay, I'm going to go do this and I'm going to work my tail off and I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. It's like, what's the risk versus reward ratio? Well, the risk is if you don't go, then you're going to be in the exact same position, working the exact same job, in the exact same comfort zone, and you're not going to grow. So that's another risk. Or if you take a risk and you go and you try something else and maybe you don't do as well as you can right off the bat, the lessons that you're going to learn throughout that process are going to be worth so much more than you just trying to stick in your comfort zone and not do anything out of the ordinary. If people aren't talking about you with things that you're doing, then you're not making any noise and you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. Because the easiest thing you can do is just do what everybody else is doing. Everybody else is doing this. Everybody's comfortable doing this. People like this. I'm just going to go and just be a sheep and just sheep my way over there with them. Why would you want to do that? I don't want to live like that. If you have real self-belief in yourself and you know what you're capable of as a human being and what kind of potential you have, then why would you want to sell yourself short? Why would you want to sell yourself short? There's no reason why you should sell yourself short. Take some risks in your life. Okay? Once you start taking some risks and you have that unwavering focus and that true self-belief in yourself, of your authentic self, I promise you, you're going to become unstoppable. You're going to become unstoppable and nobody's going to be able to stop you. And also, if you have God on your side, and look, I only started going to church and actually having a relationship with God like just recently, even though I've always been connected to God and I always knew there was a God, because obviously my mom had a double lung transplant back in 2014, and I thank God every day for that. I got another 6.5 years with her. So when you see miracles in your life, like, it's impossible for you to be like, oh yeah, no, there's nothing more powerful than a human being. It's like, nah, man, you're not thinking straight here, buddy. You're thinking too much about, oh, what's the scientific evidence, and oh no, there's no research. It's like, man, there doesn't have to be research. How about that feeling in your heart when something actually happens for you and you know it's supposed to happen and it's a miracle? And it's like, oh my God, how did this even happen? You know, something like that. And that's what I mean. Like, my life has changed so many ways because now I'm just starting to see how connected we are all as human beings. And then you're going to have more self-belief because you understand all human beings are connected. We're all the oneness is what I'm talking about. The oneness is the most important thing. Okay. And what I'm doing right now is I'm putting my back against the wall. I'm forcing myself to put myself in a situation where I have to grow. Right. And sometimes you got to put your back against the wall and just say, you know what? I don't have any other options. You have one option to fight. That's it. Your back's against the wall. People are coming at you. You got to try to figure something out. What are you going to do? You got nowhere to run. You got nowhere to hide. The only thing you can do is stand and fight. That's it. That's all you can do. Stand and fight. So that's the good thing about putting your back against the wall. But if you have the right self-belief, then you'll put your back against that wall because you know who you are and you know what you're capable of as a human being. And when you see what people are really capable of, like the biggest thing for me is when I seen how strong my mom was when she got a double lung transplant. Like, take that in. There's so many different like arteries, veins, capillaries, like all these different aspects of your lungs and your tissues, and they have to reconnect everything. They open you up and she survived and she kept fighting day in and day out, even till her last breath when I was holding her hand. Like, come on, man, that's insane. That's amazing. And when I see that kind of stuff, I was so inspired by my mom. It's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I gotta put my foot on the gas and help more people and reach my true potential as a human being. There's no point in selling myself short. And I hope you guys feel the same because you shouldn't be selling yourself short. Last one I want to say is you got to bet on yourself. Bet on yourself, okay? I'm not a gambler by any stretch of the imagination, okay? My parents were both bad gamblers. Our electricity, our gas got cut off. We missed rent a bunch of times. Like, massive fighting, arguments, animosity in the household. You know why? It was because of gambling. And that's one thing. I don't ever gamble. The only bet I'm ever going to do is I'm going to bet on myself. All chips on red. And guess what? Red is me. And that's what you guys should be doing too. Bet on yourself. Put all the chips in, all in on who exactly you want to be and on your authentic self. Who cares what anybody else is thinking? Put all the chips on you. That's it. Put all the chips on you. Improve that self-belief. And you can accomplish things you couldn't even imagine. Okay? Hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. I'm super pumped up. And hit like, hit subscribe for me. Follow for more.